Happy morning, happy afternoon, or happy evening to every one of you, wherever you are. Welcome to this ICF Malaysia Chapter monthly webinar. I'm your host. My name is Simon Yap. Okay, and I am honored to have introduced to you today our distinguished speaker, Melvin Leow, Coach Melvin Leow, and to talk a little bit about the level up your coaching, with neurological level. So for those of you who are from Malaysia, Melvin Leow is not new to you, I'm sure. He has been very active in the coaching community many years back, right? So I personally know Melvin many years back, and he's a great coach. I've personally seen him in action, whereby he's actually a great, very experienced coach, where he helped a lot of young leaders and also the leaders in the organizations excel, in their leadership performance and also their careers. So I wouldn't want to explain a lot about his background. I'm sure when you see him in action, it speaks all. And as you know, Mel, he also very active in creating more and more leaders. So he has this catalyst coach kind of a platform to create more leaders globally. And he's also an author of 3 books. And so feel free to check out his products later on. I'm sure he will introduce a little bit about his books later on. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's put our hand together and welcome Coach Melvin Leow. Over to you, Mel.
Thank you so much. I can hear the thunderous applause. Thank you so much. And for those who are in Malaysia, my heart goes to you because you are in a very special place right now, and it's a good time to reflect again. It's a good time to spend time with family and whoever's most important in your life. And for those joining us from different parts of the world, welcome you. Today, as Simon has said it, thank you again for introduction, Simon. And I firstly want to say thank you for the team, ICF Malaysia, Grace, and all of the wonderful committees, present and past. You are here, so you know who you are. Thank you for your amazing work. I followed you from afar. I live in Melbourne, by the way, but I still, the word is 𝒂𝒄𝒊. So I 𝒂𝒄𝒊 and follow you from afar and support you from afar. I always talk about how well the chapter is doing. So congratulations. This is very dear to my heart. I'll be very frank with you. This neurological levels have taught me so many things about me, right? Because at the end of the day, I realized that all the coaching I've gone through, if I don't use it on myself first, it's going to be like a bit hypocritical, if you know what I mean. It's like I want to use these techniques on people, and not on myself. So it's going to be, not in line with my values as well. So I often would put myself through them. And I hope today you will actually put yourself through this. You may have heard it before. You may have experienced NLP, which is the base of neurological levels, but it's okay. Today, come in fresh as you are, 2021, and go through this with an open heart, of course, open mind first, and an open will, okay? This is the environment that is happening. Yes. We're checking on our phones, we're on our devices. It's been a tough situation for the world. Also for our industry, if you realize, right? Some of us here are not just coaches, but we're also facilitators, trainers, and some of our work has been impacted. Not just yours, but the clients that we serve, right? Obviously has been impacted as well. So there's this thing called the environment, which is external from us. It is happening all around us. It actually isn't happening to us. We just live in it. Yeah. So that's the environment. Right? Whatever that you sense that is happening around you is what it is. Okay. But you and I have a chance to respond and sometimes react with the behavior of our choice. Correct? Which we can choose our behavior. We realize that, especially as coaches, we know we give choices to our coaches and as well to ourselves. Right? So the behavior is a free choice from each one of us. And what's linked to the behavior, I often say, is the narrative. Because what is behavior? Behavior to me is a mixture of action, right? We're taking physical action, but it's also what we say. Not just say out, but what we say in. The narrative that has been happening in our minds throughout 2020. I know the words that I've been saying to myself. I know you have words that you've been saying to yourself as well. Perhaps there are words like this. I'll never ... I'll always ... I won't ... right? And I can't ... It's really, really strong, isn't it? As I play this for you and me, this is very real, don't you think? Right? Wave at me if you feel that, yeah, I'm talking to you. Right? It is coming through in our minds. The word that I can't, even as coaches. And I know we can self-coach ourselves. Some of us do that very well. But then sometimes we've got to go deeper. And so my question to you now is, what's your narrative that is happening inside you right now? Ask yourself, what is that narrative? Because I'm gonna use this narrative for each one of us to help us through whatever that I'm going to share today. I hope that you'll be able to get some clarity about that narrative. And from that, also help your clients with their narratives, yeah? So that, yes, at the end of the day, what your outcome is, you will level up your coaching. You begin to able to understand the sort of narrative, understand where it's coming from them as a client, and also from you, right? So let's pause here for a moment. I'm going to invite Simon here to help me facilitate this bit. We're going to ask you to write your narrative, a short one, not a one-pager, just a narrative of what's happening within your mind right now. Take 15 seconds.
Do write down your narrative, maybe in just a short phrase, one phrase or a few keywords, just write down on your inbox. Yeah, I will be able to read it from there, and I will share with Mel. And because when Mel do the share screen, probably he can't read the chat at the same time. Yeah, so
thank you.
We're helping him to do this now. Feel to write that in your inbox now, please.
But I'm going to be cheeky and perhaps call on some of my friends. If it's okay, so I'm going to call upon Julia.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was one of the first that came into our call. So Julia, amazing. We have served on same committees in ICF Malaysia when I was living there. Julia, what's your narrative?
I'm very curious about today's session. Really curious. And I signed on without knowing what topic you're going to say.
Okay. Yeah. What's your narrative happening in your mind, especially in the year 2020, right, Julia? Right? You and I may have said things to ourselves. Remember those words like I can't, I'll always be like that, or whatever. What would be your short narrative if you would like to share?
I have decided that I'm going to be more grounded and be more focused on what I want to do.
Very nice. Thank you, Julia. Grounded and focused. Okay. And obviously that comes out from a narrative before, you know, there's a before narrative and an after narrative, correct? So I'm kind of hearing in, and I hear that this is after you have reflected. And now say, I want to be focused, which I could be assuming, Julia, but before that, it could be an opposite of your statement, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think it was very overwhelming. Yeah, that's why I decided otherwise.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you, Julia. So that's what I'm after. I'm after your narrative of not what you have reframed your narrative, but the before narrative. I should have said this earlier. Your before narrative, the one that you're probably, you know, a little bit struggling with. I have mine as well. I'll share with you mine in a moment, okay? In the next slide. Simon.
I have a few feedback coming in. Aleda say, I am curious to what will happen. And Karen, Karen May Narian, right? Karen say, I'm filled with thankfulness.
Okay.
Patricia say, I'm not sure. And
that's good.
Faiza
I'm not
say,
sure that's a good place.
Faiza say, I shall not let the environment, the pandemic, to overpower me. Yeah.
Okay.
And Barry say, we are resilient and will overcome whatever difficulties and challenges, and I am grateful. Yeah.
Nice.
And
Very
Michelle Lam say, 2020 was a shock to the world and many struggled through it. 2021 will looking like another challenging one, and perhaps a sense that is going to be even harder given that the COVID-19 cases are at a record high. I wonder what will change for me this year. Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Jeff say, I have not spent sufficient time helping others. Wow. Okay.
Very nice, Jeff.
Guru Nadan said, I can't lose weight as swimming pool is closed. Okay.
Now that's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you. Thank you so much for being honest.
Yeah. Okay, I have two more coming in. Just let's do this. Two more. Amy said, I'm unsure about this year, but we focus on the right focus. Okay, nice one.
Nice.
Check Ming Ong, right? Ong say, I don't know how my new journey will be. Yeah. Thank you for all the feedback. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, Mel, over to you.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for everyone. Remember, these narratives are not common just for coaches. And you know, we as coaches, we tend to be able to reframe very quickly, right? We learn skill sets already, like, oh, come on, get out of the rut, stop whining. let's switch it, right? We've learned that. But sometimes I want you to realize our clients might not be that resilient. Our clients might not have the training that we've gone through, correct? Our clients might not know even the techniques, you know, to kind of like, okay, pause, you know, do this and do, they don't know. So that's why I'm allowing this space today to help you help your clients. Okay, so get ready, all right? This is a statement that I want to share with you today. But before we go there, this is the neurological concept that I'm going to show you. It is based from Gregory Bateson's work, who was an anthropologist, and as well as from that built on by Robert Dilts, you know, who is one of the top NLP gurus of our time. And when he coined it, it was called logical levels, right? And of course, many people have taken a stab at it. Some, of course, said that it is worthless. You know, some says it's never going to be placed this way. But I like to just take everything and every concept and make it work, right? Whatever the concept, because there's always lessons to learn from every concept, correct? So I've actually made it work very well with all of my coaching and coaches, right? So that's why I'm just so excited to share with you today. So we've talked about the environment and behavior, correct? But underneath all of that are a lot of other stuff that is happening whilst you are talking directly with your coaches, right? Everything, they're dipping down deep into the iceberg and pulling things out to come and discuss with you. In one session, they're actually ticking a lot of the boxes at the bottom. Some of the boxes have question marks. That means sometimes they're questioning their own abilities, which is what? The competencies, right? Have you ever had a coachee who felt they're underperforming? They're not qualified enough, correct? That they are like, oh, you know, in this situation right now, I'm not good enough, I'm stuck. Yes, because they feel that the certain competencies are not right there. Have you ever felt that some of our coaches, if we move down the iceberg, have also struggled with their drive, right? Their motives and their attitudes. They're saying, I'm struggling how I'm managing my internal, you know, drive to kind of wake up rah-rah in front of my team. I put on a facade in front of my people. I'll like rah-rah them, but it's not coming from my heart. Do you realize that? So they're actually talking about these things. And have you, even if you gone down deeper with them, they'll be starting to say, you know, this doesn't work. You know, last time in this company 5 years ago, you know, the important things was this, right? These were the values and beliefs of the company, the things that are important and what we stand for, because that's values and beliefs, what's important, what we stand for. And then suddenly 5 years later, you know, this new CEO came in, you know, yeah, you know the story, right? Where they say they always often blame the new CEO or the new direction or the new board or whatever. And then they start saying, oh my gosh, you know, now they are changing. This company's culture is very different than before. So when they talk like that, what happens? They're talking in the values and beliefs. And then, of course, and they start saying, well, you know, after 25 years of working right now, I don't even know who I am. When I face myself in the mirror, I'm like, what did I do with my 25 years? I've been a banker for 25 years and I still don't feel the purpose, you know, I don't know. Get it? So they're actually questioning the identity. Are you getting it? It's words that they chose to use to let you and I know where they're actually getting a little bit stuck. And they may be open to, when they bring it up to you and me, what does that mean? That means they're inviting us, right? And of course, we as coaches, very nice, you know, we ask permission, right? We don't just jump in, right? Yes, you know, they just open up that, I'll just jump in. We often take time and then we may even say, I noticed in session 3, before you were questioning about who you really are as a leader, right? So in this session, session 4, I realized that you're even saying it in a different way. So I'm making reference to that. What do you think is happening right now? So you see, suddenly, if you're aware of this, you can be able to help them even be aware of where they're stuck at. Get it? Okay. And then lastly, the model of the world, right? The model of the world is actually like the holistic viewpoint of the whole model. That means everything that the person is going through, I often call it like their current reality, okay? So this is the reality that is happening in them. We all have our current reality in our head, right? Which is different, let me guarantee you, 5 years ago. Your model of the world, my model of the world has shifted, not just 5 years, 1 year ago. Okay, so it's different right now. I wouldn't say it's totally different, right? I will say it's shifted. Okay, so that's just an introduction of this. Thank you, Simon.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No worries. Go ahead.
Questions by Shahida. Shahida asks, so is it purpose equal to identity?
Thank you, Shahida. There is many things that is tied to identity, not just purpose. Yeah, purpose can be one of them, right? Because if I ask you, who are you, right, Shahida, example, right? You can say in so many ways, right? You can say, I'm sorry, I don't know you that well, but you can say, I am a spouse, I am a mother, I am a child, I am a coach, I am this, I am that. So the identity is, it's so much layers, right? And one of it is, yeah, our purpose. It's one of it that makes us who we are. Yeah, hope that kind of clarifies. Okay, so it's a lot of layers. Okay, good.
Thank you. And Alida asks, is one level having more impact than others? Example,
Yeah,
the more impact.
He says this. The iceberg model, okay? But going deeper impact than the other, and it can influence the other. So for example, your identity can influence your values and beliefs, and your values and beliefs can impact your drive. Get it? Versa. Remember, this is not just moving one way, it is fluid, okay? More as we go along, all right? I love the questions. Keep the questions coming. Okay. All right.
Okay, Mel, I have feedback here. Is that she can't hear you clearly. Would you mind just briefly repeat what you just said to the answer to Alida just now?
Down.
We can't hear you. Okay. Sorry. Sort of lost you on the audio.
How about this?
Okay.
Now you can hear me?
Yep.
I've taken off the earplugs. Okay, if that's the case, then I'll take off my earplugs. Maybe my earplugs are the issue.
Loud and clear.
Let me put it back again. Sometimes it's the earplugs.
Okay.
How about now?
Okay, good.
Okay.
We are good.
Yeah. There is no certainty in life.
Yeah. No,
and I will allude to that. There is no certainty of what will impact one the other, because everything impacts, and it flows moving down the stream and up back the stream. It is often called this way: down the stream, up back the stream. Okay, so yes, on theory it says that your identity should be higher impact to values and beliefs to your drivers to your competence, but it also works vice versa. Okay. And Simon, interrupt me if my voice is not coming through. I think that's why Jeff was waving at me. I thought Jeff wanted to say hi, and I was like, okay, here we go. Here we go. Jeff, you can continuously wave at me. Then I know that my sound is not good. Here we go. This is exciting. I told you I'll share my line with you. This is my line. I can't successfully grow my coaching business during COVID. I mean, seriously, I'll be so open with all of you. I know this is recorded, but it's okay. I love sharing. I lost 70% of my business overnight. It's one of those things when you put all your eggs in that basket, and that basket for us and my team was talent development with banks, so it's very, very, very deep on top of that, right? So that got kind of pushed aside. Not that because they don't want to use us anymore. They do, but they can't meet, right? They can't do the face-to-face, right? And this needed the face-to-face a lot more than online, okay? So that happened. And so I was stuck with this. I can't successfully grow my coaching business during COVID. Maybe you have a different story, I don't know. But if you have somewhat similar story than me, then we're gonna have a ball, because you're gonna see how I'm gonna dissect this line. So the first one is COVID. Michelle, you alluded to that just now in your opening statement. It was a long narrative, but let me say it was good. You talked about, COVID being 2020, and now, lockdown and all that. So this is what we call the environment. It's the when and where, the time and modality. So understand this right now. Every time you talk to your coachee, there is a context to an environment. Remember that. There is always a context to a certain environment. That environment could be COVID. That environment could be, let me cancel COVID and put it last time. Remember SARS, right? Remember H1N1 or whatever. It doesn't even have to be a disease. It can be, recession. Get it? So suddenly the context of the environment can change. But if we constantly have the narrative that is similar, I hope you're catching this, then it will just be a removement of the environment, isn't it? The next big thing comes and we say we're stuck again. Get it? And that's what happens to our coaches. Actually, it's very good, because then they need us. Hey, come on. When they're not stuck, it's harder, isn't it? So we're thankful that they're a little bit stuck, true? Not very bad to say that we want them to be stuck all the time, okay? But we do want to help them. So the environment is that. Let me move it further. Now you get it. Coaching business is what? Your response. Your response. It's your actions and responsibilities here. It's the what. Because I could replace coaching business to something else. Get it? Right? It could be music business. It could be food business. Because sometimes people pivot, and you've heard pivot stories, coaches, right? Even some people, I've heard of this story. I used to have this wonderful person that did all of my events, right? They catered the wonderful Malaysian food for my events, right? But suddenly COVID hit. You know what this person did? He pivoted and he started doing food delivery to homes. Now, it's not the best thing to do, right? Come on, think about it. Everybody want to still do the events, because, hey, it's bigger numbers, they can earn more margin, get it? But what happens because of COVID? Boom, they pivoted and the behavior changed. You get it? All right. So this is coaching business. And again, we can say this to any other behavior. Get it? I hope you're following so far. Grow. is a competence, right? So whenever people use words like that, it talks about skills and strategies. Because when I started talking this in my mind, right, I can't successfully grow my, you know what it's saying? You know what I'm actually saying? I can't really do 100% online. You get it? I can't possibly grow, right? Because I don't have the skills and strategies for online. Do you hear that? I'm not saying it outwards. That's why as a coach, we need to go deeper and say, what skill, right, is perhaps needed in a new environment, correct? So when we're sensitive on the gaps, this is where it's important to know where they're actually stuck at, right? So sometimes it could be on the skills and the strategy bit. And then that big word, right? Successfully. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Successfully talks about the attitude, right? Because successfully in your heyday versus successful now during COVID could be two different layers. You get what I mean? You say now, okay, with COVID, this is good enough success level. Okay, you know what I mean? So it is quantum and intensity. But as you know, this can be enhanced during coaching. We can actually help them with getting their attitude renewed, refreshed, recharged, right? And then they suddenly get a new motivation, because this talks about motivation, to bring that on, right? You know, the big word here, can't, right? That's a belief. Every time when your coachee, or perhaps when you and I also make that narrative in our mind and have those words like can't, should not, will not, you know, it may be true in some ways, but it may be false as well. This is what I call a false belief, because this may be in this context, but it's only within our minds. Timothy Galwell often talked about this in his concept of the person number one and person number two, right? And the person number one is the one with all those things happening in there. The person number two wants to come out and do things, right, and get moving. But person number one constantly is complaining, right? So it's that whole mind. What's happening? What internal dialogue are you saying? And not just us, but what are our coaches saying? Last but not least is this identity, right? If you notice what Michelle said just now, I'm sorry to bring it up again, Michelle, in your narrative, you did not use I.
Yeah.
You're the only person that used we. Do you notice that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah. So that says something about your identity, right? It is interconnected, right, with your greater circle. But let me come back to this. Thanks, Michelle. It talks about your identity, and identity is I can't. But if I change this to say Anthony Robbins can't be successful to grow his coaching business during COVID, suddenly it's different, right? Because you see what Anthony Robbins does, right? He goes all around now and touching the screen. Have you seen that? It's like super amazing, right? He has pivoted. OMG, right? Because we are like, oh, you know, Anthony Robbins, of course, will suffer, you know, because he takes the 2 sticks and whacks it in front of the stadium, you know, 6,000 people. He had a massive sellout of his program. I don't know, like 30,000 people signed up so that they could touch the screen with him. I mean, seriously? I mean, you probably can say, well, yeah, you know, Mel, but I'm not Anthony Robbins lah. You know, I'm not. Yes, I know that. That's why you have a different name down there. But but there's ways to pivot. And even Anthony Robbins didn't sit on his laurels, I'm going to say bum. He woke up and he said, gotta do something different. Gotta do something different. And then other people started following him, right? If you realize that other people having big screens now with a lot of small little things. Yeah. And of course, that whole big statement, right, is that moral of the world, right? This becomes your truth. Which truth are you saying to yourselves? Or rather, what truth are you saying to yourself? Because when you say a word like this, it's so dense, it's so deep. And my encouragement to you, if you don't take anything else from this session, I want you to understand that, imagine now, coaches, every statement from your coaches now has a lot of weight, right? Can you imagine? They will probably speak 100+ sentences when they're talking to you, right? In one session, right? Few hundreds actually. But now you realize, oh my gosh, one sentence, if you had the time to dissect it, it's too deep already. And that's where I want you to be sensitive, because that's what I've trained myself to be sensitive for things like that. These are the little nuances that will up your game as a coach. I guarantee you will up your game when you slow down and be more present with your coaches and truly listen in on what they're saying. Take time and not just thinking of the next best question, right? Because that's what we do as coaches sometimes. Like, oh my gosh, okay, I gotta come up with the next question. The next question is this, you know. I used to do that as a young coach, right? I've got all my questions on one page, right? It's like, whoa, my powerful questions on one side, you know. And so I'll be constantly looking and going back. I hope this where we're at right now will just kind of hit home to you and say, hey, have I truly been listening in to what my coach has been saying? Or have I whitewashed it and say that stuff wasn't important? That's one of the reasons I didn't plan to say this, but can I say it now? Please record your coaching sessions. Please ask permission. Of course, some sessions can't be recorded. I totally understand that. But today with technology, with Zoom, most of our coaching sessions have now turned to Zoom, right? Please ask permission with your coachee that you'll be able to record it. Why? It's for your and my learning. I learned this from another master coach, actually a few master coaches that have been telling me that the best thing of their leveling up of their coaching is listening back to their recording. There's this one coach in America, he says, every so often, it's every other Saturday, because if every Saturday he'll go bonkers because he will start saying bad things about himself. But every other Saturday, he'll go down to the basement of his home, take out a recording, 1 hour recording, and listen to it and write down and assess his recording and say, oh my gosh, why didn't I ask this question, this, that, mapping it with the core competencies, you know, the 8 core competencies that we have right now. He maps it out. And then at the end, he gives a rating scale. Which core competency he missed out, which core competency he did well. So it also gives a pat on his back now. But also he knows I missed out on that. And perhaps which he didn't listen to the session that could be useful for the future sessions, because this kind of statements that is said can be brought up again in the next session. Remember, right? It's not just one sessions we're doing with our clients, right? So remember, we can even say, you know, in that's why I said just now in session 3, you know, you said this, the clients will be very impressed because they're, wow, you remember. Actually, you just went and listened. Okay. All right. So I hope this is helpful. This is just the beginning of where we're at. All right. Now the question is, where are you at? each one of us have our statement before, and you know, some of us didn't share. I shared my statement, right, just now. Where do you think you're at right now? If I said you could possibly be needing a bit more clarity to be unstuck in a certain area, which one of these areas is yours? Have a think of it right now. Ask yourself about the narrative that you had in your mind before. Remember, the narrative is the stuck narrative that goes on and on. It's like a record player that just keeps on going on and on. Yes, it's a bit negative sometimes. It talks down on yourself. All right. Ask yourself where you're at right now. Where are you stuck? Are you stuck with your drive? Are you stuck with a value and belief challenge? Are you stuck with an identity place? Or perhaps even lower down or here up, it's competencies. Maybe you tell yourself, I'm not skilled up enough in this area of marketing my business. Get it? Being very, very open and honest, right, to yourself. I may need actually help in the skills and strategies, which is competencies, to help me market my business better, right, in today's world. You get it? Simon, I know there are some comments there. I've been seeing quite a few come up. You can evaluate it and let me know if there's anything that is need to be brought up.
Yeah, I'm constantly monitoring the chat
okay.
box. There's no question coming, but it's more on the comment. Faiza has commented a few. First of all, she thank you for sharing your own experience about how you got impacted by the COVID-19. She also mentioned that there's always the context to what the coachee is telling us, to the environment happening around them. Yeah.
Sure.
And now the takeaway, she also mentioned that, you know, be sensitive to the little nuances, it's up to our game. And the biggest takeaway is actually record and listening back to the coaching conversation, you know, the coaching sessions. Write down and assess the recording and map it out, you know, with the core competency and rate which competency we have missed out and did well. So that's a great thank you. I think it's a very good recap. Thank you, Faiza. Thank you for doing the recap here.
Thank you.
I fully resonate with that. Thanks, Mel.
So this is you want to continue?
No, okay. Go ahead.
So I'm showing you this. For some of you, you may know this. Some of you may not. This is called the communication model with NLP, right? So what happens here, and I want to show you this, is because it is relevant to see what is happening. You know, for you, you may not know it in the triangle just now that I showed you, because we're going that, and then you're wondering what's happening within me. So this is showing you what's happening within you, okay, as a person, not just you, but also your coachees. So very quickly, I'll bring you through this. The external events come and hit us, right? We see things. Let's talk about your client. Your clients see things that's happening to them in the environment, right? Environments out there, get it? And what happens if it goes through their filters, delete, distort, generalize, it comes into deeper filters into these areas. You see values and beliefs over there, and attitudes over there, and other things there, of course, because our brain is so powerful, right? We bring in memories and layers of memories and experience and all that. There's just so much over there. What words people have said to us as well. You know, sometimes we're stuck with certain narratives. It's because those same narratives has been spoken on us, right? Language and memories are interconnected, right? And of course, there's this whole thing of time, space, and energy. So much there. That's all happening in less than 1 second. Because when you're faced with the news this morning or yesterday, I've been keeping track. Malaysia hit a new high, you know, 3,000 something, you know, everybody's like, whoa, wow, we're catching up with the States. Just kidding. Okay, just kidding. All right. And the filters get mashed up in 1 second and say in your mind, it's like, OMG, you know, it's like, and you start to have a language that comes out. Get it? So it's very quick. It hits into your internal representation. which means your thoughts, right? You're thinking through what's happening. It hits into your emotional state, right? It impacts it and affects your physiology, which means your way that you stand and react to the world, right? This physiology is your whole body's response, right? And then at the end of the day, it affects your behavior. And behavior, as I said that before, is your actions and your narratives. Remember, your narratives also comes out in behavior, right? Sometimes words are stronger than actions when it's harsh. Okay, so I wanted to go through this so that you understand that this is constantly happening within your 𝒂𝒑𝒐𝒏𝒕𝒅𝒄𝒉, all right? Happening within your 𝒂𝒑𝒐𝒏𝒕𝒅𝒄𝒉. So this is the fantastic opportunity right now. Patricia, I know you were the lady, you know, wanting to get people in, right? Who has volunteered themselves?
So few came forward, first come, first serve, right? Drum roll. And the spot goes to, maybe you want to review yourself by yourself. The spot goes to, where's my 𝒂𝒑𝒐𝒏𝒕𝒅𝒄𝒉? Where's my 𝒂𝒑𝒑𝒐𝒏𝒕𝒅𝒄𝒉?
She's hiding now, or he's hiding now, I don't know.
No, she just came out.
Okay.
Okay.
Our lovely Florence Lam.
Oh.
Oh.
OMG. Now I'm scared already. Now I'm very scared already. Uh-oh. Okay, Flo.
Let's give a big hand to Florence, right?
You don't have to be scared of me. I'm a very timid person.
So before we proceed,
go ahead.
You might want to check with Florence on the recording. We respect your choice, so do let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Florence, I think you know the drill, right? You can choose to say yes to the recording or not. So what is your choice?
I'm okay with recording because I know that this will be kept for the members' learning, continuous learning. What I want to ensure that it is not live on Facebook.
Oh, no, it is not.
Okay. And second thing is that my name should not be mentioned in the Facebook when you narrate it in the Facebook comments.
Okay. So maybe we
known to the public.
Maybe we stop. Can I suggest we stop the recording then?
Yeah, no, the recording is fine. The recording is fine. The recording, because I think it will make it complete for your presentation, right? Okay. But that is the Facebook. When you make comments in the Facebook, I know because you know the EXCO will always make comments after the session is finished. So I don't want my name to be mentioned, you know, in the comments.
Okay. Okay. So Florence, what I can do is I'm going to truncate the recording on the site where only the coaching sessions will go to members. For non-members, because we do have non-members sign up for the session. Oh,
it's fine. Non-members, as long as within this wall, you know, within this wall. So what I say is the Facebook. Okay.
No. All right. Okay, understand. You take note on that.
Don't mention my name in Facebook. You can say that, oh, this is how it was done, blah, 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 you know, but don't mention my name inside the Facebook.
Okay.
Sure.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to also request that everyone turns off their video for this session so that we can we can just have a pure time. It's only Flo and me.
Yeah.
All right.
So
can
nice.
That one also turn off, you know, that who's this WW?
Wendy Wong.
Okay.
I'm going to stop the video.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, I just want Mel alone here.
Hey, Florence, how are you?
Oh, good. You know, it's very inspiring to see your background with all the plants, definitely.
That's right. I love it. Your plants are looking fresh.
Thank you very much. I'm actually very nervous because very long time since I actually volunteer myself in public to be coached.
Yeah, it's all good. I appreciate you. I just want to say I appreciate you. Don't worry, we're the only two people here. So just speak as you are, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a short session, Florence. So I'm just going to put some guide rails on it. Not more than 15 minutes. We're going to talk about you because, hey, you are the most important person in this 15 minutes, okay? We may also be asking about what you are narrating to yourself, right? So what is your current narrative that you want some clarity to move on? So it could be a narrative that is making you stuck. So this is a nice 15 minutes for you to perhaps get clarity of that narrative and maybe even get unstuck.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the narrative that you want to share today, Florence?
I've been coached many times on this issue, the decluttering of a very important room in my house.
Okay.
And I get excited after each coaching session, and then it lasted for about a week or so, and then I'm back to my old self. And, and the decluttering did not happen as what I wanted.
Wow. Wow. Can I replay that back to you, Florence? What I hear, I'm just gonna put what I hear is that you desire to do some decluttering on this particular space. Yeah. And that's what you want to get over and complete.
I think I know what to do with the room. I know what I need to do. I can actually, talk about all the action that I can do with the room. I think what I am thinking right now is that what is really going on inside my mind is like, it's like if I could do a brain surgery or a mind surgery, more specific, a mind surgery. I want to understand what is happening in a mind. Why is it that after being coached so many times, many times actually, and still I'm behaving, the same way, or probably I get it started and then I still go back to my old self.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I'll ask you the first question. How will this decluttering serve you?
I think to me, when I have things decluttered, it means that I'm opening up some space, probably in my own mind, in my own life. So when seeing a room that is a mess and disorganized, is like telling me my mind is also disorganized and not tidied, Yeah.
And can I just share with you an observation that just happened? So whilst you were saying that, I felt a little bit of a stomach churn. It's like there's a clog in my stomach when you just said that. So I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure about what to think about when you talk about this stomach churning, but a new thing that came to my mind is that I feel like I'm in a whirlwind now. Like a big tornado of whirlwind. And I am inside this tornado. And I'm trying to get out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get out.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. So when you visualize that happening to you right now, where are you at in the tornado?
It's very deep inside the tornado. I feel that I'm at it. The tornado is shaped like a cone.
Yeah.
And I'm at that the top part of that tornado, and it's deep inside. And I could see myself floating inside, trying to get out, from that big tornado into that calmer, environment that's outside of the tornado, which I can see.
Okay, nice. So what I hear you say is that there is this desire to be outside of that tornado.
Yeah.
But currently, there is something holding you in there.
Yes, and I do not know what is holding. There's something that's very invisible. It has so much force and power that hold me there.
So I'm going to make reference to this room again. Okay. What in this room, if you can visualize, right, you're in this room right now, and imagine this room is your tornado. What could be the couple of things in this room that is so difficult to take out?
Can you repeat the question again? I need to process that question.
No problem. So imagine what you just said about the tornado, right? And you're saying it's difficult. This force is making you stay in the tornado, right? So I'm making reference metaphorically to the tornado, to your room that you want to clear. Yeah, is that correct? Yeah. So I'm asking you, is there a reference point of the thing that is sucking you in there still, with a reference to anything in the room?
When I see the big house of bags, the documents, the books, and the dust, and the cartons, boxes lying all around, from the table to the floor, and even now include the chair, my armchair in the room.
Yeah.
All the table are all fill up with clutter.
Yeah.
And all the loose papers. I find that those seems to get me very disturbed inside.
Yeah. I hear you.
That is this a label that I put to myself, that lazy, am I lazy? Or that there are those things that I'm not willing to let go.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And there is that fear that if I to remove those things, I can't find it anymore. And I want them.
Thank you. So as you listen to what you just said, Florence, what is one thing that is coming to you right now? Just one thing.
this word lazy. I think I am struggling with this word lazy because there is this voice inside me that says that there's nothing wrong to be lazy. However, I'm getting also that kind of another voice telling me that which are feedback, you know, those are from feedback from other people, what people think about the word lazy, you know. So I think I'm struggling with my internal self, you know. One part tell maybe the angel is telling me inside that, you know, lazy is okay, you know. If I were to brand that as me being lazy versus, you know, the other devil voice and says that, you know, it's not good to be lazy. Look at what other people say. Lazy people are not successful, and lazy people are not this.
Yeah. So my question to you, Flo, is what word will serve you better?
I can't think of any word right now. But it seems that there is this emotional attachment to this word lazy that I want to be convinced. I want to even convince that devil voice that this word lazy is good for me.
Okay. So what I hear is that there are two sides. And one is saying it is okay to be at that state.
Yeah.
And one is saying that it's not okay to be at that state. So if I ask you now, and we're in this session, and we've only probably got 3 more minutes, which state would you rather be for this new year?
Lazy. Being lazy. Yeah, being lazy, yes.
Okay. And what will lazy mean to you then?
It means that only act upon inspiration. Only act upon when my my angelic voice calls out for. Only act upon when it's all about, you know, the feeling of that inspiration, feeling of inspired, then I act. That is lazy means to me, yes. You have to capture it in just a few words.
Very nice. So you have just reframed that word for yourself and what it means to you now, which is linked to inspiration. And when you are inspired, you would find the space.
Yeah.
How is that for you?
Yeah. So it looks like, if going back to the tornado, it's not that I am I think it's not about the struggling inside the tornado. I think it is that I'm looking for inspiration to go out of the tornado. It is not that I, looking for an action or looking for how to go out of the tornado, but rather an inspiration that would pull me out of the tornado.
So good. So good. And as we end this session, what could be just one small inspiration for you?
I think right now at this moment of time, I am quite settled that I can ignore what other people say about that's labeled lazy. Because I know exactly, I'm very aware now that what's going to happen to that room, right? And I guess that it's not about putting a deadline or a timeline to get it decluttered. It's not about that. Because if I were to work on inspiration, and that would jive very well with me in how I label myself, the word lazy, right? So I can still be the lazy and at the same time, declutter the room, without the time. I think it's again, so, I don't like to be tied to a certain timeline.
Yeah. So good. So good. Can I celebrate you right now? I like this word coming to my mind right now. It's called inspired lazy. So good, Florence. So we're just gonna wrap it up. What's your biggest takeaway for you, right, for this short session?
I think my biggest takeaway is because I really want to understand about myself, my own thinking. And to get that conviction about some labels that I put on myself. And now I feel that I am getting that hang about that, this word lazy, because it's a big word to me, this lazy, and that equals to inspiration. It's like open up a whole new world for me. So this is my takeaway, to be able to put lazy and inspiration together.
And so my last question, this is the last of the last, don't worry. What is the new narrative that you want to coin for you?
I act on inspiration and it will be, I act on inspiration and that would be a very purposeful action therefrom.
Absolutely. And with that, I say thank you, Florence, for this short time. I really appreciate you. And I'm so excited to not to see the room, but to hear your one-line narrative at the end of this session. So well done.
Thank you very much, Mel. It was really a pleasant journey throughout with my tornado, and finally end with a very empowering statement for myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Wow. All right. Wow. Thank you, Florence, again. Without this, without her openness, it's not going to be possible. So everyone can come back on the video again. We're just going to do a very quick, maybe 1 or 2 people or 3 people, just do a bit of a comment on what you learn from this very short session. Anybody? Are there comments there already, Simon?
We have not seen any comment yet.
Okay.
I'm sure more will come in with
Mel?
comment.
Shahida.
I must say, your pregnant, I call it pregnant pause instead of the waiting. Your pregnant pause is amazing. I would have come in with a prompter question to get Florence to move, right? That pregnant pause, that pausing is for me amazing. I must learn that, to actually sit there and just wait instead of coming up with another question to prompt, because my mind is, did she or did she not understand my last question? And so that piece is something that I need to take away with. Yeah, that one was good. And for her to actually stay in her space, for Flo to stay in her space, that is one learning for me.
Thank you. Thank you for your observation. That is a very, very good observation. Thank you.
Yeah, Mel.
I resonate that pacing is marvelous. You are cool as cucumber.
Thank you.
But it's not like you you're going very slow, but you follow the pace, because Florence was processing in her thought, and you just follow the pace. You speak at her pace. This is wonderful. I learned a lot in the session from you. Cool.
Thank you.
Edwards.
Michelle, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I noticed, and I really appreciate the energy you brought to this session. I noticed that, Florence was very much in different moments where, she's describing the tornado, and her speech is a lot faster, and but you held that space for her, and somehow, your calmness, and I almost want to say Zen actually helped hold down her tornado, to give her that space to reflect further and perhaps look at the possibility, now look at the possibilities of coming out of that tornado.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Like that energy.
Thank you. And can I say, and I know there are comments there, appreciate all the comments, but I don't think we have enough time to read all the comments, but I just want to say this. Each of you can do that very easily, really. And we will come to the next part of the sharing. But I want to again acknowledge Florence, because without her openness and her wanting to go deeper, sometimes that is the difficulty as well. Okay, so once again, let's give a big hand to Florence. Come on.
Actually, I want to also say that your question is sharp and focused. I think that came from being fully present in full partnership and in the moment, and it stopped me from long winding narratives, because I'm known as a very long winding coachee. Okay. So because it's so sharp and get into the core of it, so I didn't get a chance to be long-winded. Instead, I get into more a reflective mode, very deep reflective mode.
Yeah, well done again. Now we're going to jump in straight. Thank you again. We're going to jump in straight, because it's going to be your time very soon to do this practice, right? Because that's what we're here for. I'm going to share screen right now. Let me not forget to share screen. Is the screen on? Yeah, okay.
It's on, but it's not full. Yeah, now it's 80.
So let me talk through the NL flow. And again, Simon, let me know how much more time do I have? Because I don't want to also bust that for you on a Saturday. Okay, you're on mute.
I'm doing my mathematics.
Okay, so you tell us. Okay.
17 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay. So let me show you this very quickly. you've got this, you've seen this, you've seen how it's worked. Now I'm going to show you on the right-hand side what I'm doing so that you can understand what I'm doing, okay? Because I think that's going to be helpful for you. Again, with the question before, it's a flow. It's not like we're doing like, oh, you've got to go this first and then this and then this and then this and then move back that way. It's a flow. It's a constant flow. I love how Florence moved as well. She was actually talking about many things there, okay? I perhaps don't have time to debrief everything, but she was talking actually also about her beliefs, right? She was talking about that. She was talking about identity as well. One of the things she did mention is she does not want to follow things that people say about her. That's a belief, you know. Okay, I won't go too deep, okay? Because we're supposed to move forward. Remember, your coaches have this narrative that is happening on the external dialogue, I call it. External, they're talking it out from their lips. It's already external, okay? Sharing with their friends, putting on Facebook. You notice one of the things that social media has these days, right? Is you can flow with people's narrative, right? And then someone's upset, especially those very high EQ person, they share it on top. They share their disgust on Facebook as well. Have you heard that? Have you read that? Sometimes people do that. But then there's this whole thing, the flow of thoughts, emotions, and actions, the CBD model. And it flows on what the thoughts. Notice Florence is a high thinker. Right? We all know that through her conversations. She was like, I was trying to get more of the emotions out. That's what I was doing, okay, in this session. I was not bothered so much about actions. But later you notice she said, and she quote this, she said, a lot of times the other coaching sessions just want me to get into some actions. You know, she said that, right? It's like, oh, you know, I'll start something and then I'll stop. So I knew actually it's not stuck in emotions, or sorry, actions. She can do it. She will do it when she gets the right motive. You see, emotions is tied to motives there, right? Values and beliefs, emotions, motives and attitudes are tied to your emotions. So I want you to realize that this interrelates parallelly to this neurological levels, okay? And then, of course, at the end of the day, there's also the narrative in the internal dialogue. That is why I asked her those questions about what she's saying to herself, and she actually volunteered certain things she was saying about herself, correct? You notice that, right? So that's how I link it to the TA model, how I link it to the be-do model. Behavior is all about showing up. What was Florence trying to show up? She didn't want to show up lazy, right? So that's the didn't, right? She didn't want to show up lazy. In fact, she said, you know, people say that. So when they say that, it's like, you know, she's like, I don't like when people say that about me. But you know what? Because she enjoys that word becomes power to her as well. Remember? She said, I asked her about the question which shocked me actually on answer. Her answer, I said, what will serve you better? She said, the word lazy. And I almost laughed, okay, but I didn't. I hold back my emotions. I'm like, oh my gosh, lazy is empowering. Okay. So I was trying to pull out something. I'm just sharing you what's happening within me, okay? I also have my internal dialogue happening, okay? Remember? Okay, I've got to control it. All right, and then this is the being and doing. Remember that whole doing is tied to actions. Can you see that now? And that whole being is tied to your thoughts and emotions because it just keeps on moving there. So you're slowly trying to align that being into the becoming, right? And that's what I actually help Florence get into the becoming, because if she stays out there in the storm without connecting to the outer rim, which is where she wants to go. Remember the tail end of the conversation, if you hear it back again, you would say that, I want to I want to find out where I can be inspired to get out. So it becomes a pull factor to becoming. Do you hear that? She wanted to come out, not push. She hates people pushing her in a way that she's not ready for, okay? And then the SAC model, challenging. You heard me start off with that question, didn't you? I say, how has this served you? Right? And so she's like, she shared all that. Aligning. I asked this question as well. What will serve you better? So the word consistent here is serve, right? The context is what? Is that decluttering of her mind and self in metaphoric terms to her room. You see, that's how people are, okay? And then lastly is strengthening. And I asked this as well. I say, what will lazy mean to you? And I left it open, right? So I that's where you use the context of the word that the coachee is going to tell you to anchor this. This is the anchor. We want to re-strengthen or strengthen a new narrative, an internal dialogue, new narrative to help her from being to becoming. I hope you're getting that. That is a lot of things happening at one go. By the way, all these are behind the scenes happening at every coaching session that you will face, everyone. And so I wanted to help you go deep to go up. Take a deep breath, everybody. Clear screen. Because now it's your time to go out there and do practice. And coaches like to coach, right? So I'm going to pass this time to Patricia. We're going to break you out into breakout rooms of 3. There will be coach, coachee, observer. You decide. Only one round, unfortunately, because of time. Coach, coachee, observer. You decide which role you want to play very quickly when you get into your room. And then the coachee, please, like Florence, decide what narrative has been holding you back. Be open, transparent, and all that. Be open to that. We're going to give you 7 minutes. It's going to be a short, impactful session. Okay, 7 minutes. You're going to enjoy it. We will come visiting in the rooms. Don't worry. We'll come and say hello to you, but we won't disturb you. We're invisible. Okay, so enjoy your time. Patricia, over to you.
Yep. Open up the room now. All right. Just enjoy.
Okay.
Right. I think you can click on the room and then you can join.
Yeah.
Or you want me to put you? I think you can.
No. I'll just go in and out lah. Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone.
I think we're all saying as coaches, yeah, we need more time because coaches can really talk. and coaches become coachees, can even talk some more, you know. It's like express. Oh yeah, we were talking when we were in this room, the 3 of us, Pat, Simon, was that I think we should have given them more time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So you've done parts of the session. Maybe some observers. I'm just going to ask for some observers to give their comment on what you observed. Okay, just a couple of you. In reference point 2, if you notice what was happening to the coachee, right? What areas neurologically they could be stuck in. They may be saying something, but actually stuck in a different level, right? It often happens that way, okay? So open to observers.
Yeah, if you'd like to speak, please unmute yourself and start sharing your feedback. Go ahead.
And we might tell the observers that they're stopping to observe right now. Now is the time to talk.
Okay, I can share. My name is Viviana.
Hi, Vivian.
Yeah. So after the coachee talk a long story, and then the coach will rephrase or summarize the story that the person that he hear from the client. And then after that, he asked powerful questions like how this story affecting you.
Yeah.
And after that, because we have only short time, then the coach also and then the client will explain more, explore about what is the impact for him. And after that, the coach will ask, how would you like to have a different narrative right now?
Very nice. Very nice. Very good. To that coach who asked all that, well done. Woohoo! And the coachee as well. Thank you, observer. Thanks, Viviana.
Yeah, I can share as well for my end.
Hey, Lloyd.
Yeah. The narrative, I mean, it's a keyword for me, and I think it's very important that when you use that, if you use it too early, then you will lose that impact that you can. I mean, when you get your coachee to move to get deeper and express more the voices or the thoughts or the emotions that they're talking about. The narrative can be, I think, again, the door opener for that intrinsic part of the discussion. And I think you need to time it. You need to just get that external message first out, and then find your the area that you would like to focus on and dive and have deep dive through the narrative. But if you use it too early, if you are just only trying to only drop it as a question, you might lose that impact or the momentum that you can create behind it.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Don. Okay, maybe now. Yeah, sure. Who's that? I gotta see.
Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah. Montri was the observer, but he was driving, so I was a coachee and Fanny as a coach. So I thought that the narrative, and she really gone through the one before and after narrative was very good because I want to do more work for NGOs, and I came up with the word fulfilling. And I think with that, I have to go into motion and putting my plan in place because it's very ad hoc now.
Sure.
I think the narrative is wonderful, and Fanny did a great job in tracking that within 7 minutes. So thank you so much. Thank you, Fanny. Thank you, Mel.
So good, so good. All right.
If you may allow one more sharing, Mel. Sorry, Grace here. Yeah, I was the observer, so I was in the room with Maimun as the coach and Ashley as the coachee. So your model is very powerful because I could observe Maimun using it, and she went straight into that level that Ashley was sharing, and it was a very deep topic. Yeah, and it was a very big topic, but I could observe her going through what you were using just now. And even Ashley, because she was in the session, so in her own way, she actually sort of like also doing her own self-coaching, and dancing with Maimun. And even though the topic was very deep, but they could actually find a keyword for Ashley to to further contemplate from here. So well done. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Thanks, Grace. Thank you, Maimun, doing such a great job. All right, so we're gonna jump back into this. I'm gonna share my screen just one moment. Okay, here we go. You saw this just now, and you would realize that it's flowing, right? There are other questions that you can ask. So in a longer session, just like my session with Florence just now, you notice that I didn't just flow with these questions, but I was very, very clear about using these questions for you to see it, right? But obviously you've got other models, you've got other questions, you can put it along the way. The good thing about this is that you can very quickly identify or help them identify, the coaches, where they're stuck in, right? So when they're stuck in something, and I was checking in like with Flo, I wanted to understand whether she really wanted to, you know, there's a great desire, because my internal dialogue was happening and saying, oh my gosh, do you imagine? My mind was going, lazy doesn't equate to action. That was my wrong thinking, you know. I'll just openly share this, right? But I kind of stayed in that moment. I didn't want to put my judgment in it. I didn't want to put my own my own values and beliefs into the conversation. I stayed with the word lazy, and the lazy became beautiful, correct? It was reframed beautifully into a new identity, into new meaning versus before. So that's the key behind all of this. So as a summary, the key lessons are 5 points. The first is your coachee is unique, like you. If ever you get a chance, and you know, we have coaches as well. Sometimes we have coach mentors and coach supervisors. I encourage you to have both of them in your journey as a coach. Be open to the uniqueness, to your uniqueness, which also means be open to the uniqueness of your coachee. That's number one. Number two is listen in, not to your own internal dialogue, like how I could have, but listen in to the narrative of that happening at that moment in time. Okay, so that's where we use the TA. Third point, invite them to go deeper. Invite them to go from the doing sometimes into the being, into the becoming, and then it flows back into showing up. Remember, this is a flow. It's not like, oh, we have to go this way, then we have to go that way. It's a flow. So sometimes we start with what's happening out there, right? It could be, how are you showing up today at work? You know, I was jumping into on a call just now, and I won't tell which call, but one of the calls says, I want to change the narrative of 2021 for myself. And that was powerful, because there was an intention of wanting to change the narrative and go deeper. So that narrative could be how they are showing up right now, but they can even go deeper with being and becoming, right? Number 4, help them find greater meaning. You know, in all my years of coaching, I realized that number 4 is actually one of the most key things to do. Without meaning, people, coaches, are just going to do it because, oh, my coach, you know, is now accountable to me to do it, you know, so I'm scared of the person asking me in the next session, where have you done this? Have you done that? Sometimes they might just be doing it to please you, to please their stakeholders. You get it? Because they have to report to a stakeholder. But the greater thing is they can find a deeper meaning for themselves. And that's where SAC comes in, with the strengthening of the meaning. That's what it means actually. In a longer term, it's called strengthening of a meaning. Okay? Which is the key thing for them to identify with whatever they want to be and do. And lastly, remember, it's all about the flow. Flow up, flow down, and I'm using it differently purposely because you've only seen it this way. Flow up, flow down on the iceberg, and continue to level up your coaching whilst you do all of this for yourself and as you serve your coaches out there. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Gonna stop share now. One second.
Right. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you. Wow, such an awesome session, right? Don't you agree that it's a very awesome session? Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions? I'm checking on the inbox. If you have any questions, can you just either you can unmute yourself and ask Mel directly, or you can type me your questions, in the chat box. I will read out your questions. You have any questions so far? All right, so far, I have not seen any question coming in. But anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to write to Mel directly. I think on the slide that you can see his email address. He's very active in LinkedIn. Yeah, so do see him in action in LinkedIn, and don't forget to check out his website. So you have a lot of a lot of materials and learning you can get from Mel, even on the website itself. Yeah. So thank you very much. Okay, I have one question coming in. In fact, I have two. Maybe we just pick up. I know we have a little bit around the sessions. Let me just. Okay, this question from Michelle. What are your personal practice to prepare yourself as a coach, Mel?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. Many things. Of course, going through my notes is a physical thing that I do, right? Making sure that I'm not confusing this coachee with another. That's just being very real with all of you, right? The second thing is to also understand my being, my presence at the moment. I have to constantly check in and see how am I serving, how am I showing up to the client, mentally, emotionally, physiologically, all of that, even deeper as well. So I'm constantly preparing myself before I jump in, and knowing that prep will serve the client. I often tell myself, the more I prep, the more I become of better service to the client. And don't forget during the session as well. During the session, we could prep all that before, but during the session we lose our flow and we start just going through our models and all that. Remember that there is a real person in front of you. The person is not broken. The person is not needing just help. The person is whole. The person is ready to move. So let's listen in to them.
Thank you. I hope, Michelle, that answer your questions, Michelle. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, one more last question. One more last one. Okay, Mel, this one come from Anita. Okay.
Yeah.
Anita asks, can a systemic perspective be integrated to this model?
Yeah, the answer is yes, definitely. Right. You see how I integrated other models with this model. So to kind of help you see that any model can go and match with what we're talking about today. So systemically, if this person is stuck on a certain level, you can also align it with what's happening neurologically as well. So it's going in and out. I often say it's going in and out, going on the river, coming back off the river, going back on the river again, right? So it's a flow. So the answer is yes.
Okay, thank you, Anita. I hope that answers your questions. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for questions. I know there are some questions coming in. I'm so sorry that we couldn't take more because we promised we end this by 10:45 Malaysia time, but now it's almost 11. So I'm so sorry that we couldn't take any more questions. So please write to Mel. Please write to him. Yeah, you have that email address there with you. So please write to him, and he'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Yeah. So once again, thank you very much, Mel. It's an awesome session. I'm sure you all agree with that. Let's give him a big applause, right? Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
I personally learned a lot from you in these sessions. The coaching demonstration was marvelous. Thanks for the great sessions. Yeah.
And
yeah, sorry. Patricia, want to say something?
Simon, you want to share? Do you have the book? Mel book?
Oh yeah. I have this book. Yeah, this is one of the Mel book I have. It's called Bringing Out the Best. I tell you what, this is the best book ever because yeah, really, because you have so many case study about coaching culture, about how you build a coaching culture, and these are the real story from the corporations like Petronas, you have many interesting corporate coaching culture story inside there. So I honestly ask hope that I'm not selling this book, but again I recommend you to have this book. Yeah, get in touch with Mel, and I'm sure you will learn a lot of insights about coaching. Yeah, especially how do you build a coaching culture in corporations. Yeah, so have that book with you. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I will hand over to Patricia now to share a little bit more about the ICF Malaysia event. So over to you, Patricia.
All right, thank you very much. This is when I'm going to speed up a bit. So I'm going to pull out the poll. Your feedback is very much appreciated. So just simple 3 questions. While you're answering the questions, I'm just quickly going to go through what's going to happen next, all right, in our ICF. What are the next event? I know that you're looking forward to it. Okay, so any questions? Again, you know my emails already, in and out. I've been sending a lot of emails to your events at icfmalaysia.org or for CCEU. Do check your junk mail first before you check with our secretary. Please allow us to have 7 days. Right, we're going to mark against the Zoom sessions attendance if you require a full attendance. Right, upcoming events. Remember our date. This is on the 30th of January, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. We are in lockdown still. No, already released maybe by then. But do come and join us. Put on your hat and dress up as colorful as you can and join us for the award reading as well. Right, and then another MCC live will be coming in is by Jenny Bird, and she's very lovely. I have the first encounter together with Faizal with her. She's very lovely and chatty, and do join us for her to share with us supervision versus ICF mentor coaching. What's the difference? Right, the time will be 24 February. Right, it's during Chinese New Year time, but nonetheless, you can still bring up your cookies and enjoy from 8 p.m. to 9:45 p.m. Right, last but not least, for EO collaborations, we still encourage coaches to join. We want to give as much as possible opportunity to all our coaches to have the opportunity to coach entrepreneur and business owner. So we have all these dates: 25th February, 30th of March, 22nd of April, 28th of May. If you see the QR code there, scan the QR code to work on your registrations. All you need to do is join us at 4:20 p.m. to 5:30 for the coaching sessions. Of course, you have extra time. I do encourage you to join us in the workshop as well, right? At 2:30 to 4:30. So that's all from the update on the event. What I'm going to do now is ask you all to turn on. I'm going to end the poll. I would like you to turn on your video so that we can capture all your beautiful faces for these sessions. And guess what? Mel, you just break the record. We have the highest attendance rate so far.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, I think it's almost coming to 100%. And thank you, of course, very much for everyone for your participation, your support to come and join us. And not forgetting, I think Michelle did a very good job in publicity. That's why a lot of people coming in. So I do need you to turn on your camera now. Smile, give us your biggest smile. It's the first MCC live for Malaysia this year. So where's Jeff? No more typing message. If not, Jeff cannot cannot capture the photo.
Don't put anything in the chat box now. So I'm going to take 2 shots and two screen. I'll just give me the best smile now.